I chose to leave the United States and move to Ecuador to practice permaculture in 2017 because I was recognizing that the prevailing consumerist culture there in the United States is very corrupt and very dysfunctional. It's dysfunctional in the sense that the things that people are choosing to consume are created at a very tremendous cost and in a way that is very destructive to the environment. Also, these things that people are consuming are mostly things that they don't even need, and things that are also very bad for their health. Things like junk foods, fast foods, factory farmed animal products, pharmaceutical drugs, bottled water, soft drinks, cigarettes, cosmetics, alcohol, you name it. And then when they're done consuming these things, whatever's left, namely plastics, are just discarded and thrown to the environment, and they turn into pollutants which damage the environment even further. So now we have entire continents and oceans full of plastics, and we have waterways and an atmosphere which are rapidly filling up with all kinds of toxic chemical byproducts from the manufacturing process. So it's a system where the ecology, which we completely depend upon to survive, is being destroyed to create things that we don't need, and then that destroyed ecology is replaced with plastics and other pollutants left over from our consumption. So I left because I decided that I no longer wanted to support this way of living, which is actually a way of dying. It's a foundationally unsustainable system, which means that not only is it bad for the planet, but it means that it literally cannot go on for very long before it fails. It's a system that's ripping up its own roots, ripping up its own foundation, which is the ecosystem. And why would I put all of my trust in a system that is designed to fail? And I grew up in this system. I was born and raised in it, so for a really long time I thought that this was the only way to live as a human being. But after doing a lot of research, I learned that actually there are many other, much healthier ways that I can live as a human being that are much more harmonious and supportive of the environment that we depend upon. So I chose to move to Fruit Haven because it is a place where I can practice permaculture, grow the healthiest foods possible for human beings, live an active lifestyle with a lot of intimacy with nature, and share this experience with like-minded people. So we want to share with people that this is a more sustainable way of life than something like this, where the jungle is destroyed to make way for animal products, which people don't really need to survive, and it comes at a great expense and great damage to the ecosystem. We're trying to show people that this can be a long-term solution for all of humanity to implement the kinds of things that we're doing at Fruit Haven, to be able to live with everyone's needs being met. Instead of just exploiting the ecosystem, we can live in close connection with it to better ourselves and to take better care of the planet and the collective. So Fruit Haven's only 3 years old. It's a pretty young project still. So a lot of fruit trees take longer than 3 years to produce fruit. But in the short term, we have things like this papaya that are already fruiting. We have pineapples. We've got plantains. We have a lot of bananas. We have durian. We have rolinias. We have peely nut. We have lots of noni. Cacao, peanut butter fruit. We have sonkoya, pedalai, meringue, jackfruit, chempedak, macadamia nut, alano sapodilla, grafted soursop, black sapote or chocolate sapote, meme sapote. Got this coconut palm, badea, and we have mandarin. Got that rack of bananas up there ready to harvest. I'll show you how it's done. A nice rack of bananas there. So I just took down this banana rack and I'm going to mulch these leaves around this meringue tree. So we always give something back to the earth. Nothing goes to waste. One of the really unique things about Fruit Haven is that it's a place where raw vegans and fruitarians can come from all different parts of the world and connect in person and develop deep connections over periods of weeks or months or even longer if they choose to stay permanently. But a community like this is a place where like-minded people, raw vegans and fruitarians, can come and really connect deeply in a meaningful way, doing things that preserve the ecosystem, doing things that grow our food in the best way, organic and tree-ripened fruits that haven't been sprayed with any kinds of chemicals. I mean, who wouldn't want to preserve all of this lush greenery? Who in their right mind would want to turn all of this into cattle pasture or grassland or mines? So another very important aspect of our community life is how we are structured. So it's a decentralized system of leadership where everyone has an equal say. It's not a hierarchy, it's a non-hierarchical system, and it really breaks away from the really heavily hierarchical systems that you see in the world, in the Western world especially. And those hierarchical systems make it so there's a divide between the elites and the layperson. But here you have really experienced people who've been here long term, interacting on an equal wavelength with people who've just arrived, and everyone has an equal say. We've actually had to ask people to leave, kick people out of the community who really insist on making it a more hierarchical system, because we see how a hierarchical system is not sustainable and doesn't meet the needs of the collective, and it just promotes separation. So I think what we're doing here is a lot better than that, and it really encourages deeper connection between everybody. So this is my house on my land. It's currently being built. I still have to put in the floor and the walls and the door and the windows and everything. But we have a roof, so it's technically livable now. I can spend some time up here and plant my trees and whatnot. And my land is 1.5 hectares, or about 3.75 acres. And let's go see the things that I've planted so far. This is my little mini nursery that I've got started. So these are just some of the plants that I'll be putting in the ground within the next few days or weeks. So I've got grafted white sapote, black sapote, South American sapote, some ackee, pashte, soursop, peanut butter fruit, which is really nice, some flamingias for nitrogen fixing, and like 20-30 inyakos. So you can see this section of my land is more or less completely bare, other than some of these fern plants, which is an indicator that it's really poor soil, it's really depleted soil from cattle grazing. This used to be pasture, and you can imagine every time a cow is grazed and taken off of this land to slaughter, it's taking its entire skeleton and its entire body's worth of calcium and other nutrients from the soil. And that's why I've planted these ice cream bean trees. to replenish nitrogen and other nutrients into the soil. So I haven't planted these for fruit, but these are soil building plants. These are leguminous nitrogen fixers. So I've planted a lot of these, like 30 or 40 of these nitrogen fixing trees before I planted all of my other fruit trees. So as you can see, our food cultivation systems are pretty much like a forest. We have many different species of trees, and our permaculture farm is just like a little mini ecosystem, which stands in very stark contrast to how the majority of our food today is cultivated, with huge monocrops, which involve destroying nature to make room for that sort of food cultivation system. So our way of doing it is very different. It's very integrated with nature. And our food cultivation systems here are just like a habitat for animals. It's not only for us. It's not only for growing food. It's also for preserving the ecosystem. But it also just so happens that we're growing the healthiest, most high quality food possible by doing it this way. So there's so many benefits to using permaculture methods to grow our food instead of these giant industrial monocropping systems. I feel like it's my mission to show people who are suffering with their health just how important and beneficial it is to live in close contact with the natural world. I mean, we have exploding epidemics of diabetes, cancer, heart disease, Alzheimer's, all kinds of degenerative diseases. But when we eat the cleanest, freshest food straight from the tree in accordance with our species-specific diet, and when we surround ourselves with fresh air to breathe and clean water to drink straight from the springs of the earth, and healthy, supportive relationships with people, these diseases simply don't happen. And I want to show people who feel so jaded and tired from trying to get by in a disconnected modern society that there is a better way to live. Tons of people are waking up and becoming aware of all the ecological problems that we humans have been causing. And that's great that people are developing this awareness and figuring these things out, but they feel discouraged. They don't know what to do about it. They feel hopeless, or they think humans can only cause harm to other life on the planet. We can only make things worse. But this is not true. I hope that what we are doing here at Fruit Haven can show people that it's the true nature of humans to assist life, to support life on the planet, not to destroy things and make a big mess of things, which is really just the result of us being distracted and disconnected. I feel like it's my mission to show people just how much of an impact average, normal people like ourselves can have on the entire world. We don't have time to keep sitting around waiting for the powers that be, these huge companies and politicians, to change what they're doing. They get all of their power from us. We've given them all of that power. They're the minority. They're a very small group of people. We are the masses. It's time to take our power back and focus that energy on the earth. We can stop supporting them right now. Instead of giving them all of our attention and all of our trust and all of our money for them to misuse, we can get everything we need and more from having a healthy, conscious relationship with the land that we live on. Based on what I've seen here at Fruit Haven, I truly believe that we humans can turn this thing around and make this world a whole lot better for all of life. We can take action ourselves, today, right now. And when you realize that, that's very empowering.